All right, what's going on, guys? What's going on, guys? What's poppin'? What's poppin'? I'm here with my dude. Sterling Cooper is in the building. What's going on, bro? How's everything, man?
I'm good, Lakari. I like the little soundtrack there. I like the little applause. I deserve more of that. I don't get that. I don't get that. No, welcome whenever I'm on someone's show.
Right. That's cool, man. But yo, man, I'm glad to have you here. I know you just did an interview with Miles, but I was like, we got to get you back on here to talk about the new product, man. Dirty Talk, man. So tell everybody what that's about. You know what's going on. Let's just jump right into this, man.
Let's do it, man. Yeah. So Dirty Talk 101. It drops on Saturday this weekend. Mm-hmm. So it's on pre-order right now. You can get it for 50% off. And basically, it's a in-depth course on not only how to and what to say in the bedroom,
right?
I also cover a hell of a lot of stuff about the underlying reasons why you might want to start saying stuff like this in the bedroom, and that's the sort of like the secret sauce that I throw in here, which people probably aren't really expecting from a course on like dirty talk.
Right,
a whole bunch of stuff they're going to learn in here that's going to help their own self-esteem and their own confidence. There's a whole bunch of stuff that's going to help in their relationship dynamic with their lady in the bedroom, as well as obviously being able to, get her off through the power of words.
Right. That's what's up.
Yeah.
So what gave you the idea to come up with this product? Because what I notice with a lot of guys out there is a lot of guys are scared to be very like bold and honest and just like talk that type of shit. So what made you say, was that the idea of like, I got to get these guys to like push themselves more? What was your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's because I get so many emails from dudes who are like, I don't know how to be that confident, dominant guy in the bedroom. And I'm like, man, like that shit's in you,
right?
It's in here, right? And it's just if a dude's been brainwashed his whole life by like fucking Disney and Hallmark movies and romantic comedies and all this bollocks, then he's got this perception in his head of women being these sort of perfect, innocent, infallible creatures,
right?
And it's not trying to shit on women here by saying that, but I'm saying that they're not these innocent things. They have that dark, twisted, perverted side to them,
right?
And I want dudes to sort of wake up and realize this. We've got a lot of look at it like layers on an onion. There's a lot of layers of bullshit we've got to kind of unpack and take away from the average guy before he gets to a place where he's like, where I believe where he's at, where he should be in the bedroom, where he's the guy who's dominant, he's leading her, he's giving her a fantastic experience, but he's also being sort of that man that she's like lusted after from day one. That kind of guy she's lusting after in her fantasies. Like you can be that guy. It's in every dude to take on that role.
Right.
But we've just had so much fucking brainwashing for most of our lives from mainstream media telling us all kind of bullshit. It's like, man, okay, well now we got to get in there. We're gonna start unpacking this. We're gonna start teaching dudes how to talk in a way that's going to reinforce that kind of belief in themselves.
Right. Yeah, because I notice what happens is a lot of guys think that women don't like to hear sexual talk, and that sometimes what happens is when guys try to do it, they either do it in a way where they're not really confident, so they're just like saying things, but they don't really believe what they're saying, or they get thrown off by a woman telling them like, hey, you're messed up for saying this stuff, and you're a jerk, or you're this and you're that. So when you're out, Sterling, when you're out here talking to these women, right? How in your life, how has, I guess, women responded to you talking dirty to them, and what are some examples of like what guys can learn in this program, this product?
Well, they respond very well to me when I do it, and I think the problem with a lot of guys' delivery is hesitancy. Really, it comes down to that hesitation. And if they hesitate, then they don't. Then the body language is off, the delivery's off, their vocal tonality is a bit off, right? And that leads to incongruence, and it leads to them fucking it up, and it comes maybe some women have given them negative feedback on that,
right?
Because it's because they half stepped, And in terms of the stuff that I teach guys in this course, so I break down a few different what I call frameworks for guys. So on the sort of extreme end, we have like very like degrading and humiliating language, which not every guy might even want to try.
Right.
And there's a subset of women who won't respond super well to that either because of past negative experiences, past traumatic experiences, whatever. But there's a giant subset of women who do love that kind of talk.
Right.
And I know because I'm the guy that's doing it to them.
Right.
and then there's a few other frameworks you throw in here. So I throw in things like sensations. I use that as a framework for guys. So like describing the sensations she's already feeling so that you can amplify them and make them even more powerful, because you can be good in the bedroom and you can be hitting the right spots, right? But if you can start getting in her ear and whispering in her ear and getting and really amplifying things,
right,
it makes what might take you, like maybe 10-15 minutes of, say, vaginal penetration to get a woman to orgasm. Well, now it's down to like 5, just because you're playing with this thing up here, her head, right? And then there's a few other frameworks I talk about. I talk about tapping into imagination, and that's vividly describing like future scenarios or potential future scenarios and fantasies to her, getting her to sort of go there in her head, whilst she's here with you, being physically intimate. You're taking her somewhere else in her head. She gets to experience a few different things at the same time, right? Then I talk about language which we use, which I call kind of commanding language. So telling her what to do in the bedroom. So like spread your legs, stick your fingers in your mouth, taste your own pussy juices, like bend over, do this. Like even just the idea of just saying it, right? She gets used to. And this is one of the subtler things that I throw into this course, which most people probably wouldn't be expecting in a course on dirty talk, is we learn to start embedding frames. Or I think Miles used this phrase the other day, like planting seeds. Planting seeds in her mind, which is a really good way of looking at it. Like you start planting so if I start using the kind of language that's very commanding and telling her what to do all the time, well, now I'm planting the seed in her mind of I do what he tells me to do.
Wow, that's some game right there, people. You know what I'm saying? I gotta see what's going on out here. You know what I'm saying? I gotta see what's going on out here. So what are some, like, give us some, like, I guess, like some examples of, I guess, scenarios.
Let's play some. Let's play an example.
Yeah, like let's say you're in a scenario where you have, do you have audios?
Yeah, I got demos for you, man.
Okay, cool. Let's do it. Let's make it happen.
Imagination, bisexual, permission. Let's go with the fun one. Let's go with the really fun one. Because we've already got like half an hour, so I'll give you the juiciest one.
Okay, cool.
Where are we at? Demo 3. Boom. This is another example of like what I'm talking about with planting seeds.
Oh shit!
Shall we say? That's it on the screen there. Cool.
Yeah.
You might want to dial everyone listening. You might want to turn your audio up a little bit because I'm obviously whispering shit here. All right. Oops. I'll rewind that because my volume was down, so that might have affected it.
And if it's low, you can just tell us what you're saying at,
Yeah, I'll orate it over the top. Right. So I've said. I said, imagine if that was some other girl's pussy, as she's tasting my fingers. I bet you'd love that, wouldn't you? You love tasting some other fucking pussy off my fingers? You'd love tasting some other pussy off my dick, wouldn't you? What if I just fucking tied you up in that corner over there? Made you watch me fuck somebody else? Pulled my dick out of her? Used your fucking mouth to clean it off? That's all you're fucking good for, isn't it? A little pile of fucking holes for me to use. Little pile of fucking holes for me to abuse. My personal little cum dumpster?
Yes.
Say it. All right.
Nice. I love it. Oh, I gotta put the joint on that. That's crazy. I love it.
So that's just one, like, what was that, like 40-second bit at the very end of the course. I spent the whole course basically like breaking down the concepts of what we're talking about, teaching guys like how to perfect their delivery, how to get a deeper voice. Then I go into a few different things like and frameworks you can use on the date before you get to the bedroom.
Right.
It's going to make things going to make you transition to sex more easy. And then I talk about all these different frameworks, and I give a ton of different examples, and like I mentioned before, the frameworks of like imagination, sensations, commanding language, etc. Giving a ton of examples and frameworks they can borrow from that. And then at the end, I give this 15-minute demonstration of me with the young lady, basically just whispering dirty shit in her ear and getting her to and bringing her to climax at the end of that 15 minutes through the power of language. And in that example, there's a couple of things I've done there. Right at the very, very beginning, I'm embedding this idea. I'm eroticizing this idea of her sharing me with another woman.
Right.
So I'm, if I tie you up in the corner over there and you make you watch me, and she's getting off as I'm describing this stuff.
Right.
It's planting that seed. It's planting that seed of she's going to enjoy sharing me and watching me with another woman. And the reason that I might want to plant that is because I quite enjoy threesomes.
Right, exactly.
It's like, okay,
that makes sense. You see what I'm saying? That's game right there, because that, like, you're literally, not only are you turning her on by saying what you're saying at the moment, right? You're also having a situation where, she is thinking about the things you're saying, because everything that you're saying, she's going to take into her subconscious mind. And that also becomes part of, like you said, that framework of what you're making your situation out to be. You feel what I'm saying? So you're like, well, I'm creating the type of situation I want. Bingo. So it's like you're killing two birds with one stone at this point.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And that's what. And so everyone thinks of dirty talk as just this tool of arousing a woman, and it is that. It is a tool for arousing women. And
right.
That's like the basics. That's the very beginning kind of baby step stuff I talk about.
Right.
And then if you want to go a bit more, you can start playing around with a few more tools which are a little bit more powerful, like this kind of stuff, like describing a future scenario, commanding her to do something. Right. I also, talk about ownership language, where I might say to a girl, well, there's an example of that. There's a kind of example at the end of that clip there where I call her my personal little cum dumpster.
Right.
That's a combination actually of like implying that I own her because she's my personal little or whatever. And it's also a combination of kind of degrading, humiliating language, which I talk about as well. And you might not want to go that far, but it's not for every guy. Fine. But I'm just showing you how to get there. I'm showing you that's a possibility. And it's a possibility that a lot of women, especially once you start playing around with the other kind of frameworks I talk about, like commanding language and ownership language,
right?
You might just find that your woman is now a little bit more receptive to more extreme kind of degrading language because she's seeing you more in that dominant masculine light because of the language you're using. And that, again, like I said before, is reinforcing a self-belief,
right,
that you are that guy. Because it's the language that you use that dictates your belief system.
Right. And so what I would ask is, what about the guys that are, I guess, like, scared to talk like that to women? Is there anything that you teach them, like, like how to get over that fear? Stop being a pussy, you know what I'm saying?
Stop being a goddamn pussy.
Yeah, exactly. Just make it happen.
Well, I feel like I'll tell guys that there's with the really basic stuff, like I wouldn't, if you're kind of fearful of trying this stuff, I wouldn't jump into the very degrading language to start with. I wouldn't start, if you're hesitant, I wouldn't start off with calling your missus a filthy fucking whore.
Right.
That's not step one. Okay. So we take it, we take a few steps back. We go with the really basic stuff. So if I'm describing something describing a sensation she's already feeling. For example, I might say, I can feel I can tell how turned on you are by how wet you are. Or I can tell how turned on you are right now by how engorged your clit is, or how swollen your clit is, right?
Right.
Some language like that. I'm getting her to pay attention to something she's already experiencing. I don't know a woman on the planet that would get offended by that kind of language. If you're having sex with a woman,
right,
and you're like, you're showing appreciation. You're like, damn, I love how fucking wet you are right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a compliment to her at the same time. But
Right.
It's not like, I think a lot of guys get they overthink this. They think they're going to say something that's going to offend her. They're going to say something that's going to piss her off or have her kick him off during sex, or make her want to break up with him immediately.
Right.
And it's probably because they're envisioning the more extreme kind of dirty talk. But this really basic stuff, any guy can do.
Right.
Because it's and part of the reason I sort of structured it like this is because it's very easy to think of what to say too. You're not going to forget what to say because all you have to do is describe what she's already experiencing. Right. And another example, and it doesn't have to be a physical sensation. It could be something she can hear. So if she's really, really dripping wet, and you're hitting it, right? And you can hear
like
how wet it is,
that smushiness, you know what I'm saying? All of that,
all that. If you can hear it, then... is that on your soundboard? What's that on your soundboard for?
That's the sound effects, yeah.
I'm gonna add that to my soundboard.
Yeah.
But if you and her can both hear how wet she is, well, then you might get her to pay attention to that.
Right.
Can you hear how fucking wet you are right now?
Right.
And that's a good thing. It's a positive thing, right? So that's not offensive language. Guys get a bit too. They're hesitant and they're afraid to do it because they're afraid of the rejection of it.
Right.
And I'm here to tell you that there ain't a woman on the planet who's rejecting you for amplifying her sexual experience.
Exactly.
It would be like her rejecting you for like giving her an orgasm.
Right.
Like, oh, get away from me, you Don Juan.
Right. No, and I think that's a good thing for guys to understand, that, it's when you're in the moment with her, being able to say the things that you're saying, all it does is it just turns her on more because she sees you as that more masculine, dominant, attractive guy that's, has that type of energy. You know what I mean? It's crazy. Yeah.
And the more aroused a woman gets, the more susceptible to suggestion she is.
Right.
The more quote unquote compliant she is, you could say. And so if you're afraid of initiating dirty talk, well, then the great place to start, then don't start with using this stuff as foreplay. If it's your first kind of foray, start throwing it in after you're already having sex. While you're engaged in sex and she's enjoying herself and you're enjoying yourself, then you can start playing around with it and dropping it in and getting used to it.
Right.
Being like, okay, cool. And what's going to happen is you're going to get a positive response, and that positive response, that positive feedback, is going to encourage you to want to do it more.
Right.
And the next thing you know, you're a perverted son of a bitch like me, and you're saying all kinds of crazy shit. That's the be warned. That's the path you'll end up going down.
Right. And so, when a guy is like, let's say, flirting with a girl that he met at a bar or at a party or something, or even let's say he's just on a date with a woman, what are some like examples, or do you think that there's ways that he can have some sort of dirty talk in those type of situations?
So the examples I give in this course are actually of a thing I call sexual framing. So it's again, we're playing with like layers here.
Right.
So like we're saying one thing, but it's meaning something underneath.
Right.
And sexual framing is something I've played around with for like 8+ years whenever I go on dates. And it's not dirty talk in the sense of like it's erotic and arousing and it's a very sexual language. It's not like that. What I talk about in this course is this stuff on the date you can say, which elicits certain aspects of her personality. Because everybody has different aspects of their personality they bring out around different people. Right. In particular, women have a certain personality they reserve for the guy that takes them on dinner dates or foodie dates, right?
Right.
The friend zone guy, and they have a different personality for the guy they actually have sex with all the time. Right. They're different. There are different like little aspects of their personality are different, right? Or amplified. So what we do with sexual framing is as an example, one sexual frame that's useful if you have a first date with a girl, you want to end up sleeping with her. A useful frame is her being spontaneous. Now, how might I elicit that aspect of her personality? Right. I might say something like, you know what? You seem like the kind of girl I could take to an airport with a toothbrush and a passport, and we could go on the next flight out of town and have a great time together. Now, why would that work? It would work because it's a compliment for a start.
Right.
Like if I frame, and it's called cold reading as well. It's an example of cold reading, which is chick crack, by the way. If you cold read somebody in a way that's vague enough, but it is also a complementary character trait of theirs, they're gonna accept it. Like if you said to me, "Man, you seem like the kind of guy who gets laid all the time," right. I'm gonna be like, "No, right. I never had sex." Like I'm not gonna say that. Right? I'm gonna be like, "Yeah, you know what I am." Like,
like I'll take that. You know,
yeah, I'll take the W. Right. And so the same thing there is if I'm kind of complimenting her in this way that elicits a certain aspect of her personality that's helpful for me, aka her being spontaneous.
Right.
Well, that's one chink in the armor. Done. And it's like, okay, why would spontaneous help me? Well, maybe a spontaneous woman is more likely to come home with me and enjoy this view on my balcony, perhaps.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I teach a whole bunch of stuff like this that guys can apply on the date. And there's a few things I talk about pre-date as well. I emphasize the power of voice notes and how much work you can get done through using voice notes, particularly over Instagram versus.
Right, yeah, because you can definitely do voice notes on Instagram. You're right.
And the beautiful thing about using voice notes on Instagram, right, is that she can go through her inbox and she can read the first line of text from every text message a dude sent her.
Right.
But when you send her a voice note, it just says voice note. So there's mystery there. She ain't got a clue what you said. And women are curious.
Right.
Curious as a cat. So she's going to be like, huh, click. And then she has to click on the thing again to friggin' listen to it. So you've already got 2 clicks more of investment than the average dude has.
Right.
And that's all. And sometimes that's all it takes to separate you from the average chump. It's like, huh, she's listening to my shit. She's at least put a few more seconds of effort into just looking at my message than she did to the average guy who's messaging her. And now we're off to a great start. And you can convey so much more through voice. If I send a text message, it's all she has to play with is words. Right. But when I say them, I can add a cheeky, flirtatious tone to my voice. Right. I can make sure as hell, and I do make sure as hell that I'm speaking really deeply. Right. Sometimes I might even have a cigar before I send them. Get that voice nice and deep. Right. And that conveys a lot of stuff. Because if I just say, "Hey, how's your day going?" in text, that doesn't really do much. Right. But if I'm like, "Hey, how's your day going?" Right. Like it's a little bit cheeky. It's deeper. It's paced. It's tone. It's so much more of my personality is conveyed through that. So that's something I've really emphasized in this course for dudes to do.
Right. And I think it's important to for guys to know, like, you know, especially when it comes to, you know, if you're talking dirty and you're trying to create that situation, that sexual energy within the situation, you know, the voice is more powerful than the text. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like texting is good and it has its place. But, you know, if you're actually saying something to the woman and she hears your voice, you know what I mean? Then that can really resonate and get her feeling those emotions versus like you just like texting her something regular, or you know what I mean? So I think that's very, very important for guys to understand when it comes to, you know, this whole process. Now,
and it also gets them used to using their voice. That's kind of, there's another secret. There's a little like trick I've kind of thrown into this course is like, all right, I want these guys to like, because they might look at this course, they might go through everything and then be like, okay, and then they might chicken out when it comes to like the sex. Right. But if I tell them to do it, if I tell them to start fucking around with voice notes, right? Well, then, okay, now they're practicing the vocal inflections. They're practicing with a deeper voice. They're practicing saying things a bit more flirtatious, right? Okay, and now I've got them practicing the kind of the delivery I want them to practice. Excellent. Right. So now when it comes to the bedroom, they're going to nail the delivery because they've been practicing already. They're going to speak with a deeper tone. They're going to speak with a lower inflection. Right. Got them. And then they're going to see positive results. And then they're going to praise me and say, "Thank you, Stirling. She had a fantastic time."
And you know what I think is good about this too is that if you're comfortable talking dirty to a woman, that makes it easier, I think, to talk to women. Period. Meaning that because what you're doing essentially is that you're saying like or engaging in almost the most boldest type of conversation you can with a woman, which in essence is the type of thing where, let's say, for example, where guys they're scared of rejection, right? Yeah. So if you know that you're able to talk to women this way and you're getting positive responses from the women that you're interacting with, then you're not going to be afraid of rejection as much, because you know that you have the ability and the skill to talk to women and get them turned on and interested in you based off of this type of conversation. And most guys don't talk this way. So therefore, you're going to stand out from a lot of other guys who just, talk like every other guy and says the same thing that every other guy is saying. You know what I mean? So I think that's a very, very interesting point about it.
There's a whole group of guys who even struggle to moan and groan in the bedroom, who don't even make any noise at all. And that's something that women unequivocally do not like. They like noise. They like to know that they're getting you off. They like to know that they're pleasing you. They like to know that you're there, you're present with them, enjoying that experience. Because otherwise it makes them feel really insecure for a start, but it kind of makes them feel like just a piece of meat. Now, and not in the good way, not in the way that if I described to her that you're my little piece of fuck meat, that's different. Because I don't necessarily actually mean it. I'm just eliciting like a perverted fantasy in her head, and a lot of women have sick and twisted fantasies about exhibitionism, about consensual non-consent, for example, about group stuff. There's a whole bunch of different perverted fantasies that go on in women's heads. And you just look at the kinds of novels, the romance novels that they read, and you'll see what I'm talking about.
No, that's
all we're playing with. We're playing with that. It's already in there in most women, and we're playing it. We're just tapping into it and unleashing it, and we're getting her sexual best out of her. We're eliciting that out of her. Right. If we have the balls to like talk to her a certain way, well, that's freeing for a woman. She's like, yes, this is a guy who gets it. This is a guy who ain't going to judge me for being my slutty self.
Right.
Oh, I just lost my camera for a second. I can still talk to you.
Right. So do you have another clip we can see of on deck?
Absolutely, I do. In fact, I can play that. We dropped a clip before my camera is being a bit of a dick.
Let's try to see one more clip and see.
Let's fire this up before we bounce out. Where we at. Yeah. In fact, do you want to see the grand finale? Then we'll play the grand finale.
Oh yeah. Let's make it happen. Let's see.
All right, we got the grand finale going on. Bang. You gonna be a good girl and come for daddy?
Yes, please.
You gonna fucking come for me?
Please.
You come?
Yes.
Beg for it again.
Please.
Again.
Let me come. Please let me come.
That's it. Come for me. That's my naughty little slut. So the idea is like this is the tail end of this demo clip, and it shows you sort of where I was able to take it to. And I'm not having sex with it. I'm not penetrating her here. I'm not using a vibrator or her touch or anything like that.
Right.
I've established this idea at the beginning of this dirty talk, like, oh, you wouldn't dare come without my permission. I say this at the beginning, right? You wouldn't come without my permission, right?
Right.
And so she's aware of that. She can't come without daddy's permission. And then we build her up, get her more hot, and then I command her, like, okay, come for me. You ready? Are you ready to come for me? You're getting close to coming for me. You're not coming yet. You're not coming back. Now you're coming, and that is basically getting a girl to come on command, right? And I am doing a little bit of like clitoral stimulation with my finger. I'm just gently rubbing with the finger. That's all I'm doing. I'm not going ham down there. My face ain't down there. I'm not eating a pussy. But it's like the 99% of the work here is done up here.
Right.
And that's that. I wanted to do it like that, like not in a sexual not in a like I'm having sex context, because everything I do in this clip you can also do during sex.
Right.
But if I show guys, okay, here's it being done just as foreplay.
Right.
it's more proof of concept of how powerful this stuff actually is.
Right. And again, that's an experience that, most, because remember, there's women who probably have never been in a situation with a guy who's able to do that. You understand, to them, or to make them feel that way, or to talk to them in that way that makes them feel that type of way. So it's like, I'm telling you guys will stand out in this situation. You know what I'm saying? But and guys, remember, the link is at the top of the chat, and also the link is at the bottom of this video. So you can make sure you guys purchase this course so you can step up your game. Because this is, I always tell guys how important the mouthpiece is, and how I feel like, and this will always say, the mouthpiece and the things that you're saying to women is the great equalizer. Meaning, like, a lot of guys worrying about, I got to be the best looking dude, I got to have this and have money. But if you're the guy who knows how to talk to a woman and talk to her certain ways to get her feeling certain things, you're already standing out. You know what I'm saying? Like, bigger than most people out there. You feel what I'm saying? So I think that's a very, very fucking important thing. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And if you want to take advantage of this is on pre-order until the 27th of November. So if you use Lucario's link before then, you get 50% off.
Right.
So jump on that now, because the price will double to $399 after the 27th of November. So if you get it this week, it's $197. You save yourself $200. So.
Right.
And you get to support Lucario at the same time.
Yeah. So hit that link below, or hit that link in the chat. April put up the link, and she already put up the link, and I posted a link up on the chat, and it's also below this video. So make sure you guys check that out. But yeah, any last things you want to say, Stirling, before we wrap this up real quick?
Man, just thank you for having me on. Happy Thanksgiving to you and all your supporters.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And thank you guys for checking us out, man. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate you guys coming through and getting this cracking. And Explosive, how do you utilize these during a date? Get the course, man. Get the course. You know what I'm saying? So you can definitely check it out, and then add it to your repertoire when you're out here in these streets, man. You know what I'm saying? So you make that happen. But guys, man, we appreciate y'all tuning in. Appreciate everybody in the chat. You feel what I'm saying? And remember, guys, purchase it before November 27th to get the half price. So click that link below, or click the link on the top of the chat. You feel what I'm saying? And we will holler at y'all later. We out here. Peace. Yeah. We gone.